Hello and welcome to the station. I appreciate making it over. My name is Jim Tasevsky, and today I just want to talk about something that's dear to my heart in terms of how I traverse my day, in terms of satisfying what I need to satisfy personally and then externally with others around me. I find I've really drawn myself to the teachings of Maslow, and specifically Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs. I find it an excellent way of realizing your potential and satisfying and satiating the things that are important to you. This is not for everybody, obviously, but this is something that is very basic and is very easy to understand. And I think Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs sort of meets everything that we do normally, and we just take it for granted. We don't really pay attention to what we're doing. He has 5 levels in his pyramid, and I constantly am referring to the pyramid as a mountain in my life. And at any given time, I am on that mountain, Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs mountain, let's call it. I'm always in the foothills somewhere. I may not reach the top. I'm looking at the summit, and I like to get to the summit, and I sometimes do. A lot of times, I may just stay at the bottom of the foothills. But I'm never beating myself up. It's a journey, and it's important to have that journey recognized as something that's achievable. And even if it's not achievable this day, there is another moment that it can be achieved. So let me just name off the 5 levels, and then I'll explain them, and then I'll explain them how they fit in. The first one's psychological needs. The second is, and I'm going from the bottom to the top. So the first one's psychological needs at the bottom. There's safety needs. There's loving and belonging. And then there's esteem as number 4. And at the top is self-actualization. So the thing is, with any one of these levels, you are going to come in and out of these levels depending on what you're doing in your day-to-day affairs. It's all subconscious to a lot of us now. Like you don't really pay attention to your psychological needs. You just need to know that you are satisfying them. And at any given time, you'll traverse, like I said, probably the lower half of this pyramid far more often than getting to the top. And I don't know if all of us self-actualize ourselves in the best way possible. And I'll talk a little bit more about sort of all of these in detail. But I think the problem with us is that we're constantly looking to be the best, the finest, the greatest. And that ST suffix that we've created as humans is just not fair to yourself. You can't always be the best, and no one needs to beat themselves up if they don't carry that ST suffix in everything they do. There is a lot of argument to be made about, and there's academics that talk about just a life of mediocrity. I mean, that word in the West is like garlic to Dracula. It's just not a simpatico word with how the West runs. The West runs from strictly the best, the greatest, the finest. This is sort of the MO of the West in terms of its thinking. No one wants to be just mediocre at running a 400. Everyone wants to be the best, and that's fine. We need to have those people that can achieve what they can achieve because They're just good at what they do, and that's fine. But the problem with the West is this ST suffix sort of pits us against what we should be versus us just being satisfied with what you have. And I mean, that goes along with kind of the affluenza life we live, where we need to have more and more and more products and services, and we're never satisfied with the latest gadget. We just need to have the newest thing, the best thing. Everyone's, equates you with that new car as, you're at the pinnacle of success, when in fact there could be a lot of negative in that scenario that we just don't see. So let me just go over the 5 different items in terms of their details. So psychological needs deals with air, warmth, food, clothing, and I think it's reproduction. So that's just baseline things. Like, you need to eat, you need to have air, you need water, obviously. These are just standard things. When you get up in the morning, you need to have all these things sort of part of your element, during the day to sustain you. These are just the baseline aspects of being at the bottom of the pyramid. And these are where you start off with. Obviously, you're sort of your base camp at the bottom of the mountain, let's call it. For me, anyways, it's a mountain. The next one is safety needs, where it's, personal security, there is employment, resources, health, and prosperity. So these again are baseline items. So we need to have, personal security. Obviously, you want to be safe in your house, or you want to be safe when you're traveling on a bus to work. These are all safety needs that play into the aspect of moving you forward up the mountain. As long as you're safe, you can then feel and move on to the next level, which is love and belonging. Now, this is in the middle. This is kind of straddles the 5 is the number 3, but you could call it the middle of sort of the pyramid, the mountain. Once you have traversed psychological and safety needs, you can feel safe to know that you have, an environment that's loving and belonging, and you're trying to achieve that through, friendship and your family, and sort of the connections you make with community, and how you interplay that with your daily life, right? You want to be as satisfied as possible with your relationships. They're not going to be perfect. This is where, you may slide down the mountain, or you may stay static in the middle of the mountain for quite a long time before you can move to the next levels, right? I mean, I'm constantly referring to the fact that I'm in the foothills when I'm talking to friends and family that know that I appreciate this sort of aspect of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They understand when I'm in the foothills. I may have an encampment in the middle of that journey to get to the next level. I may not have to go to the bottom. I start off at the bottom possibly every day, but I make it quickly up to the middle of the mountain, and I constantly have my sights on the top. I do look backwards to see what I've done, but I'm looking to get to the top, and not be the best, but just satisfy me in terms of what I'm looking for, and that's self-actualization. And that's where everything comes together. So the next level is esteem, and obviously you want to be respected, listened to, understood, and that comes with that loving family. If you have proper work and you feel safe in that work environment, if you have a belonging, you feel like you're progressing. Again, you're not stepping on others to get to where you need to get to. You don't need to do that. And again, trying to modulate that consumerism that's so overwhelming now, and sort of eclipses clear thought in a lot of aspects, right? Like I said, that affluenza lifestyle can really be pervasive in terms of knocking your esteem down, because you're constantly looking at people on beaches and people coming out of exotic cars and having the latest clothing and such. You need to be satisfied and grasp what you have, not what you don't have. That's the most important thing. So obviously the most effective tools that you're going to use here are sort of all of these stratas of your life: loving family, being safe, satisfying your psychological needs, and then with esteem and all of these things coming together, you possibly can get into the self-actualization, where you become fully aware of your environment, where you're so in the moment that you realize that nothing can be better than what you've got right now. You're not going to get there all the time, because that is a tough spot to be in with all of the competing interests we have around us. It's tough. So it's important that you recognize these different levels, and once you have these in your grasp, you can fully understand where you are in terms of a good life, one that could possibly need some improvement or tweaking, or self-actualization through just managing these different levels. So I'll leave you with that. Please comment down below what you do, and try to think about what I've exposed here with Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs. See how it fits into your life, and let me know below what your sort of strategies are. Excuse me, in terms of your journey with your day-to-day self-actualization. Thank you for joining the station. Appreciate your time. Please subscribe and leave your comments down below. Thank you so much.